Hey, what's up? Welcome to the AV Club. Glad you're here. Let's get right into it. I play my own intro music. It's about as raw as it gets right there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not very good. All right. Hey, what's up? Welcome back, or welcome to the AV Club podcast. I got a good one coming at you today. I say that every time, but it's true every time because they're all good ones. And if you don't think so, then you probably don't listen to this thing anyways. So it's all good. But we're going to go over the phrase, fake it till you make it today, and why I think that's an important phrase. So I like to relate things to what I know. And right now, I know like faith, family, fitness, and business. Those are the four things that are super apparent in my life right now and really have hold on my thoughts all the time. Those are the things that I think about. And so I like to relate things like fake it till you make it, or name any other phrase or any other, tip or trick to be more efficient with time. I don't know. I relate it back to what I know. So this phrase, fake it till you make it, can apply to all of these things. But the one that resonated with me the most is business, first of all, and fitness. And when I think in these mindsets, it made me think first and foremost of those diet trends, diet fads. I'm sure you've heard of, like the keto diet or carnivore diet or intermittent fasting or, Atkins, name one, doesn't matter. But that's what I think about. And here's why. It's because they're not all the same, clearly. There's a little bit of difference in them, each of those diets. But the whole point of starting a specific trending diet is to start a diet. Does that make sense? It's you're trying to start a diet, you're trying to lose weight or gain muscle or a combination of the two. And so you're going to start one of these things to help you in that process. And so basically the gist of what I'm thinking is it doesn't really matter. They're all just to get you to start. And so the term fake it till you make it is seen as a negative thing to some people and a positive thing to some people. And to me, it's a positive thing because I'm not hardwired to just set a goal and then attack and not stop till it's done. I'm more of a talking kind of person than an action kind of person. And I noticed that in my life. And so I actively do things to help myself change that because I want to be about it. I don't want to just talk about it. I want to be about it, And that applies into every one of those aspects that I just laid out, right? Like we have faith, family, fitness, and business. All those things, I can talk a good game, but sometimes I don't show up for what I say and for the people who I say I'm going to show up for. And so that's why I think this phrase is important to me in my life. I'm trying to start a YouTube channel. I've said this multiple times, and I'm going to continue to say it until I do it. That's part of my strategy. But faking it till you make it is part of it because I'm not an expert in YouTube. I'm not an expert in even my field of videography and photography. But I'm good. I know more than a lot of other people do. Not more than most people, but a lot more than other people who are behind me in the skill set and the knowledge and the education of it. And so I think that's all that matters, right? The whole thing with that phrase for me is that it's a starting point because I know that if I don't fake it and just start, I won't start at all. If I'm like, I'm going to learn this until I have it 100% and then I'll start I'll never do it. And I'm sure that's true for a lot of people. A lot of you listening probably have those things in your life where you're like, let me get a little bit better, or let me, wait one more day and then I'll go for it. Then I'll try for the thing that I wanted to do, or, go see the thing I wanted to see, or go talk to the person I've always wanted to talk to. It's a perpetual excuse that you give yourself, whether it is with diet or whether it is starting a new business or opening up the Word and reading whatever it is you read. And that's why I think the phrase is important, at least to me, right? Because there's some people who are go-getters and they're like, well, I'm already an expert, or whatever. I don't even know how that applies to them. But I'm talking to the people who don't, the people who may be a little scared, a little bit nervous or anxious about new territories or stepping out of your comfort zone. That's who I'm talking to, because that's who I relate to. And that's who I am. I'm one of those people. And just like with the podcast, I've told this story a long time ago, but I got really into podcasts because of the way they make you feel. Makes you feel like you know the person talking, and it just brings you into their world for a little bit, and it could be a celebrity. It could be, particularly for me, I listen to comedians. So it's like, it's almost like you know them on a different level, even though they have no clue who you are, and you really have no clue who they are. But I like that aspect of it because you can relate to some things, and you get to see deeper than most people get to see when you just hear their end result of let it be a movie or a song or whatever. You get to know them past that stuff. So that was kind of the goal for me, and to bring people on and to have them show that side of them as well. So people that you probably wouldn't hear from or get as deep of a story as from. That was my goal. That was long-winded. But anyways, I wasn't ever going to start the podcast because I was never ready to start. I was never like, you know what, I think I'm actually good enough at interviewing people to where I want to start this like tomorrow or today, I had to hack my own brain, my own system. And what I did was simply, I made sure I had 2 mics. That's all I really needed. I had my computer back here, so that was the setup. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to set one up. I'm going to schedule a podcast for next Friday. And I'm either going to show up or I'm not. It's fight or flight at this point. And I'm going to do it with somebody who I respect, and hopefully they're willing to be on and join me. And if they are, then I have to show up, because I'm not going to, I'm not going to skip out on this person. I'm not going to disrespect their time like that and ask them to do something and then me cancel on them. I'm not going to cancel on you. And so that's how I did it. That's how I hacked my own brain to start this podcast. And then from there, you realize, like, man, this was not as bad as I thought. Like, I was scared. Sure, I was shaky voiced that first one. Maybe my questions weren't that good. But I started, and there's really no way to fail, even if your podcasts are crap, or even if your music is terrible, or your whatever the case is. Even if that first time is garbage, it'll teach you what not to do for the second time. And so literally, it's like you can't fail if you just start. Some people see it as, well, if I don't start, then I can't fail because there's nothing to fail at. I see it as the opposite. If you don't start, that is a fail, because it's something you want to do, but you're not willing to put the risk in, the reward, or the risk in for the reward, the risk in for the challenge, for the growth that you'll experience. And so, honestly, it's weird. It's super weird talking to this camera, looking at it with nobody in my room. My dog is sometimes staring at me. He's like, "Who are you talking to, bro?" And I'm like, "Buddy, I'm really talking to everyone, but no one at the same exact time." And so that was a weird thing I had to get over when I couldn't book guests. And I haven't had a guest in a while, and I'm actually getting more comfortable talking to the camera which is good because that also helps me with other goals that I have, like YouTube and interviewing people, because I'm just more comfortable in this setting. And so, yeah, you can't lose if you start, you know, and that's what that phrase is to me. It's like, fake it till you make it means starting today, getting better as you go. That's what that means to me. It doesn't mean, you know, like I have no knowledge. And it's different if you're like a doctor, right? Like if you're a doctor and you're about to go have surgery and you're like, oh, I've never done this. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm going to fake it till I make it. You probably couldn't, you know, but this is different. This is way less, it's way less important. And it's all just like ego and pride at the end of the day. Like if you're too embarrassed to put yourself out there, I don't know, maybe you should like take that as a sign as like, why do I take myself so seriously? You know? Anyways, it's weird. But one of the things that I go for nowadays is like not striving for perfection, because if that's the case, you're actually never going to start, because nobody's perfect. Not even the best people in their field are perfect. Not even the best podcasters, musicians, artists, whatever. They're not perfect, and they know it, and they still beat themselves up. But I think there's a fine line between staying like humble and staying hungry, and that's kind of where it meets. It's like you're staying humble and you're staying hungry. You're staying hungry because you're like, man, that wasn't a perfect episode, and so you're kind of chasing perfection. But the humble part of you knows you'll never attain it, you know? And so there's a really fine line there, and I think that's what makes a lot of great people excel and become great, because nobody starts off as great. Everybody starts off as garbage, you know? So that's what's been on my mind. And the YouTube thing, that's a personal one for me. And I'm going to start that tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. But I have some goals, and I think I'm going to set a date. One of the, like, okay, I'll give you some practicals of what I do. So if I want to do something that I'm nervous about or kind of fearful, I will schedule it, because my calendar and my schedule are pretty, like I use that quite frequently, and it's important to me and my family. Me and my wife, we like share everything on our schedule, so that way we know like what our weeks look like, what our days look like, when we're booked, when we can or can't do something together or with friends, or, you know. And so if I take that stuff seriously, why would I not take myself seriously and like schedule a podcast or a YouTube day, film myself, and follow through with it. There's also like a sense of like self-respect you have to have when it comes to this, because you can't just say, hey, yeah, I'm going to do this, and then you never do it, and you continuously do that to yourself. You're going to stop taking yourself seriously, and you're going to stop respecting yourself. And so then anything in the future you say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to lose 10 pounds this year, Aaron, you can do it. And then in the back of your head, you're like, nah, I'm not going to do it. You can't do it, Aaron. You've never done anything, you know, like it's that respect that you have to hold for yourself, just like you would hold it for somebody else. So that's why I schedule things. I try to withhold that. And I also don't, I do this personally. I beat myself up, and like, if I don't do the thing that I say I'm going to do, I beat myself up about it, instead of just trying to start as soon as possible. Like there's a thing that, you know, shout out to my dad. My dad's hilarious, but every time he starts like a new diet, or not a new diet, but he starts going on a diet or trying to lose weight, he could say, oh, I'm starting Monday, and it could literally be Tuesday. I'm like, dude, start for lunch, start for dinner. What are you doing? Why are you waiting till the next week to reset? You're wasting all those days in between, and you're not getting better or growing. And that's like a little harsh, but he used to do that. He doesn't do it as much anymore. But that's something that I try to do. And then, like I said, I don't strive for perfection. I strive for the day-to-day stuff, because that's the stuff that'll compound over days, months, weeks, years. Days, weeks, months, years, and make you better, you know, because like I said, you'll never achieve perfection. I'm spinning. My wheels are spinning right now. And so I think I'm going to wrap this one up. Very short episode today. 2 big guests coming in the future. I've said that before. I don't care. I'm going to get 2 guests on. One of them is a wedding planner, and one of them is a creative business owner who lives in Chicago. And hoping they can join. We're going to get that scheduled soon because I need that accountability to schedule it ahead of time so that I don't disrespect them or myself. And we're going to get it done because that's what we do. We learn and we grow. Lame. Anyways, all right. Thanks, guys, for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode. See you later.